Good afternoon. I'm playing shadows here because I've got this beautiful sunlight streaming through my office window, but it's kind of interacting and giving some interesting light. I would like to talk to you today about friendship, in particular, support. It's Valerie Ling, clinical psychologist, director, founder for the Center for Effective Living. Over the weekend, I was invited to give a small session to a group of women about what it really meant to actually care for one another. And I asked the ladies, I said, what is one predominant emotion that comes to mind when you think about caring for others? What do most women, maybe even people, tend to feel as an emotion? And there are a lot of answers, and that answers tended to be that it was guilt, right? Not doing too much, not caring too much, not feeling. Hello, Gerda. Throw me a like, throw me a love heart. So feeling like like we're not doing enough to care and support for one another. And as we continue to talk about it, I asked them, I said, where do you think this actually comes from? Why do we actually feel guilt about not doing enough or caring enough for one another? And well, I don't think anybody really had a concrete answer other than to come up with a thought process that, one part of it is probably that's the way we've been socialized. Women have this ability to actually multitask and capture all kinds of different roles. But then we're also kind of socialized to then use those abilities to not only see what's right in front of us, but also to feel the responsibility to pick up all those pieces as well. And to be fair, this isn't just a gender thing. I'm sure lots of gentlemen who have grown up with certain scripts and responsibilities in their world might feel the same as well. So as I got talking to them about friendships and social support, I've actually pointed out a main idea in my talk, and that is actual support is different from perceived support. So perceived support is, by definition, you sort of think that, because that person is my oldest friend or because that person is my relative, that I have support from them. But when you actually drill down to the quality of the support, you might not actually find that. Actual support is the sort of support that you actually really receive from a person. And there are five different sources of support that I talked about on the weekend to these ladies. The first thing is emotional support. We can care for our friends by basically being a listener, right? There's nothing more powerful than having someone sit down and really just listen to what you say. And sometimes we can feel helpless because we think, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there, just listening. But in actual fact, the experience of having someone give you their full attention, leaning in, interested, being really connected to what you're saying, even if they can't provide solutions and even if they're not saying anything back, is really powerful, because in that space, while you're listening, the person is feeling heard and supported and probably doing their own clarifying in their own heads as well. So emotional support, providing a listening ear. Number two, you can give practical support. That's the one that we all feel guilty about. We're not doing enough, not making enough meals, not dropping by to do the babysitting, to do the housework for people. All right, so there is a time and place for practical support when you can actually provide that. But what I want to say about that is we can also ask people if that's actually what they need. We feel guilty because we think we're not doing enough, but that might not be what our friend actually really needs at that point in time. So it's perfectly okay to actually listen to someone and then ask them what they need. And if they actually say, well, actually, I do need help with Johnny next week. Do you think you could take him to school for me? Great, provide the practical support. But that may not be the only thing that your friend needs and the only thing you can do. So relax. You're not a bad friend if you're not doing everything for your friend. Number three, sometimes there's room and space for informational support. So you might be in the right place at the right time to provide a little bit of information. Maybe because it's something you've experienced yourself, or maybe you know of somebody that you can put them in touch with. So sometimes there's even a time and a place that you might be able to offer some information, or even certainly offer to with the person to say, would you like some company while you find that out? Maybe I could come with you to that appointment. Number 4, we can provide support through just companionship. And I call it the gift of normal, right? When someone else's world is feeling like they're in chaos, like they're not in control, how wonderful it is just to feel like the rest of your world is normal. Like you can just sit for a cup of coffee, like you can go for a stroll around the block, like you can go and watch a movie. The gift of companionship, it just provides to a friend who may not be feeling that fantastic that they belong somewhere in the great normal of life. And finally, the hard one to do for most of us, because even we don't give it to ourselves, is the gift of affirmation. Just a reminder to our friends that even though you're going through this, I've seen your courage. I've seen your kindness to others. I've seen your generosity. I've experienced it. And that gift of affirmation just gives back to our friends when they actually need support and the world and their life isn't really quite going the way they had planned, that they can be affirmed in who they are. So I will just leave you with those thoughts on friendship and say to you, have a great evening. Catch you later. Bye, Gerda.